The woods whispered, leaves rustled, something was hidden deep inside. Two friends, Max and Maya, loved exploring.
I dare you to go first.
Max said, a mischievous glint in his eye.
Fine, scaredy cat.
They ventured into the woods. The sunlight faded, shadows grew long and eerie.
Do you hear that?
Maya whispered, clutching Max's arm. A low hum vibrated through the air. It seemed to come from deeper within the woods. They walked further. The hum grew louder. Then, they saw it. A box lay nestled beneath the giant oak tree. It was wooden and old. Strange symbols adorned its sides.
Whoa.
Max breathed, his eyes wide with awe.
What do you think is inside?
Maya cautiously touched the box. It felt warm, pulsing faintly with the strange hum. Her voice was barely a whisper. As they reached for the box, the woods came alive. The trees swayed, although there was no wind. The humming grew louder, vibrating the air around them. Maya felt a strange pull towards the box.
We should leave.
Max said, his voice shaky. But Maya couldn't resist. She had to know what secrets the box held. She gripped the lid of the box. Her fingers tingled with a strange energy.
Help me open it.
She whispered, her eyes locked on the mysterious symbols. Max hesitated for a moment, fear battling with curiosity. He couldn't leave Maya. The forest around them was dense, the trees whispering secrets of old. Shadows danced on the ground, creating an eerie atmosphere that made Max's heart race. He glanced at Maya, who seemed equally torn between fear and the thrill of discovery. They had heard stories about this place, tales of hidden treasures and ancient mysteries. But standing here now, it all felt too real, too overwhelming. Taking a deep breath, he helped her lift the heavy lid. The box was ancient, covered in intricate carvings that seemed to tell a story of their own. As they struggled with the weight, Max felt a strange energy emanating from it, as if the box itself was alive. Maya's determination was unwavering, her eyes fixed on their task. Together, they managed to lift the lid, revealing the contents inside. The humming reached a crescendo as the box creaked open. It was a sound unlike anything they had ever heard, a mix of musical notes and whispers. The air around them seemed to vibrate with anticipation. Max's heart pounded in his chest, each beat echoing the rhythm of the humming. He exchanged a glance with Maya, both of them knowing that whatever was inside this box was beyond their wildest imaginations. A blinding light erupted from within. It was so intense that they had to shield their eyes. The light seemed to pulse, growing brighter, and then dimming, as if it had a life of its own. Max felt a warmth spreading through him, a comforting sensation that contrasted with the initial shock. He could hear Maya gasp beside him, her voice filled with awe and wonder. When the light faded, they saw it. Nestled inside the box was an object unlike any they had ever seen. It was a small, intricately designed artifact, glowing with a soft, ethereal light. Max reached out to touch it, feeling a connection as soon as his fingers brushed against its surface. Maya's eyes widened, her mind racing with possibilities. What was this object? Why was it hidden here? And what did it mean for them? A staircase spiraled down into the earth, bathed in an ethereal glow. It seemed to beckon them, inviting them to explore its depths. The steps were made of a material that shimmered in the light, giving the entire staircase an otherworldly appearance. Max felt a mix of excitement and trepidation. This was the moment they had been waiting for, the beginning of an adventure that would change their lives forever.
This is impossible. Max's voice trembled as he spoke, the reality of the situation sinking in. He had always dreamed of discovering something extraordinary, but this was beyond anything he could have imagined. The staircase seemed to stretch on forever, disappearing into the darkness below. He turned to Maya, seeking reassurance in her eyes.
Max stammered, his voice a mixture of fear and wonder. He had always been the cautious one, the one who thought things through. But now, standing on the brink of the unknown, he felt a pull, a desire to see what lay beyond. The forest around them seemed to hold its breath, waiting for their next move. Max knew that this was a turning point, a moment that would define their journey.
Come on, let's see where it leads. Maya's voice was filled with excitement, her adventurous spirit shining through. She had always been the brave one, the one who pushed them to explore and take risks. Max felt a surge of confidence, inspired by her enthusiasm. He nodded, taking her hand as they stepped onto the first glowing step. The staircase felt solid beneath their feet, a reassuring presence in the midst of the unknown.
Maya, her eyes sparkling with excitement, grabbed his hand. Together, they began their descent, each step taking them deeper into the mystery. The air grew cooler as they went down, the light from the staircase illuminating their path. Max felt a sense of anticipation building within him, a feeling that they were on the verge of something incredible. He glanced at Maya, her face glowing with excitement, and knew that whatever lay ahead, they would face it together. They descended slowly, each step echoing in the silence. The air was thick with anticipation, every creak of the old wooden steps sending shivers down their spines. It felt as though the darkness was alive, wrapping around them like a heavy cloak, making each breath a laborious task. The only sound was the rhythmic thud of their footsteps, a stark contrast to the oppressive silence that seemed to swallow everything else. The air grew colder, heavy with the scent of moss and something ancient. It was as if they had stepped back in time, into a place untouched by the modern world. The walls, covered in a thick layer of moss, seemed to whisper secrets of a bygone era. Each breath they took was filled with the musty scent of decay and history, a reminder of the countless years that had passed since this place had last seen light.
The staircase. It opened into a vast chamber. The sheer size of the room was overwhelming, its boundaries lost in the shadows. The dim light barely penetrated the darkness, casting eerie shadows that danced on the walls. It was a place that seemed to defy the very concept of time, a hidden world waiting to be discovered. It's so dark, except for that single point of light in the distance. It was a beacon, a glimmer of hope in the oppressive darkness. The light seemed to call to them, urging them to move forward, to uncover the secrets that lay hidden in the shadows. It was a promise of something extraordinary, something that could change everything.
What is that? The question hung in the air, a reflection of the curiosity and fear that gripped them. It was a moment of uncertainty, a crossroads where they had to decide whether to proceed or turn back. The unknown was both terrifying and exhilarating, a mystery that begged to be solved.
Max whispered, his grip tightening on Maya's hand. "We have to see what it is," he said, his voice barely audible. The bond between them was their anchor, a source of strength in the face of the unknown. They moved forward together, their steps synchronized, their hearts beating in unison. As they drew closer, the light grew stronger, revealing a crystal pulsing with energy. It was unlike anything they had ever seen, a marvel of nature that seemed to defy explanation. The crystal's glow was mesmerizing, a dance of light and color that filled the room with a sense of wonder and awe. The hum they had heard in the woods emanated from this crystal, filling the chamber with its rhythmic beat. It was a sound that resonated deep within them, a melody that spoke to their very souls. The crystal was alive, a beacon of energy and light that held the promise of untold power and mystery. They stood there, captivated by its beauty, knowing that their lives would never be the same again. Etched into the walls around the crystal were the same strange symbols that adorned the box.
They looked like some kind of ancient language.
Maya traced the symbols with her fingers. Suddenly, the symbols began to glow. The light from the crystal intensified, bathing the chamber in its brilliance. Max and Maya shielded their eyes, awestruck by the spectacle unfolding before them. The symbols swirled and danced, forming images that shifted and changed like a kaleidoscope. One by one, the images became clear. They told a story of a forgotten people who had lived in harmony with the forest. The crystal, they learned, was a source of great power and wisdom, entrusted to their care.
But greed and envy had poisoned their hearts, leading to their downfall.
The last image faded, leaving them in stunned silence. They now understood the weight of the secret they had stumbled upon. The chamber held more than just stories. It was a vault of history, a silent witness to the passage of time. The air was thick with the scent of aged parchment and the faint, lingering aroma of incense, as if the spirits of the past still roamed these hallowed halls. Treasures lay scattered around the crystal glittering jewels, ancient artifacts and relics that whispered secrets of a bygone era. Each item seemed to hold a story, a fragment of a larger narrative that had been lost to the sands of time, and scrolls filled with lost knowledge. These scrolls, with their delicate faded ink, contained the wisdom of ancient scholars, the philosophies of forgotten civilizations, and the chronicles of empires that had risen and fallen. But Max and Maya knew these riches were not theirs to take. They understood that they were mere visitors in this sacred space, guardians of a legacy that was not theirs to claim. The treasures belonged to the forest, to the memory of the people who had once called it home. They belonged to the forest, to the memory of the people who had once called it home. The forest itself seemed to breathe with the history of its inhabitants, its trees standing as silent sentinels over the treasures hidden within.
We should leave everything untouched, Max. These artifacts are not just objects. They are the essence of a culture, a people, and a time that we can only begin to understand.
They left everything undisturbed, taking only photographs and memories. Each snapshot was a testament to their respect for the past, a promise to preserve the sanctity of the chamber and its contents. As they climbed back up the staircase, they sealed the box, returning it to its resting place beneath the oak tree. This act was a symbolic gesture, a way of ensuring that the treasures would remain protected, hidden from those who might seek to exploit them. The sun began to set, casting a golden hue over the forest. Max and Maya stood in silence, watching as the light filtered through the leaves, creating a mosaic of shadows and light. They knew that they had done the right thing, honoring the past and preserving it for future generations. As they walked away, they noticed ancient carvings on a nearby tree, symbols that spoke of a time when the forest was alive with the voices of its people. These carvings were a reminder that the past was never truly gone, but lived on in the memories and stories passed down through the ages. With a final glance back at the historical site, Max and Maya walked away, their hearts filled with a sense of fulfillment and reverence. They had become part of the story, custodians of a legacy that would endure long after they were gone. The woods were different now, no longer mysterious or eerie, but peaceful. The whispers now seemed welcoming, grateful. Max and Maya knew they had been changed by their experience. They carried the secret of the woods, a story of wonder and warning.
And though we never speak of it to anyone, we know the woods hold many more secrets.
Secrets whispered on the wind, waiting to be discovered by those brave enough to listen. The woods held their breath, waiting for the next adventure to unfold.
Its mission to explore the unknown.
What is that?
We've never encountered anything like it. Our sensors are going haywire. It's like nothing we've ever seen.
An urgent message crackled through the Odyssey's communication system. The crew, who had been going about their daily routines, immediately stopped in their tracks. The atmosphere in the spaceship shifted from casual to tense in a matter of seconds. Everyone knew that an urgent message from Earth Command was not something to be taken lightly. It was from Earth Command. The message bore the highest priority, marked with a red alert. The crew gathered around the main console, their faces illuminated by the flickering screen. The captain, a seasoned astronaut with years of experience, took a deep breath before opening the message.
Odyssey, this is Earth Command. Investigate the anomaly. Proceed with caution. The voice from Earth Command was calm but carried an undertone of urgency. The anomaly they referred to had been detected just a few hours ago, and its nature was still unknown. The crew exchanged worried glances, understanding the gravity of the situation. This is a top priority mission. The words echoed in the silent room. Each crew member knew what that meant. They had trained for years for moments like this, but the unknown always brought a sense of unease. The captain quickly began assigning roles, ensuring that everyone knew their tasks.
Captain John addressed his crew, his voice firm and resolute. We have faced challenges before, and we have always come through. This time will be no different. We will approach this anomaly with the utmost caution and professionalism. His words were met with nods of agreement and determination.
We have our orders. The captain's voice was steady, but the weight of responsibility was evident. Each crew member felt the pressure, but they also felt a sense of purpose. They were part of something bigger, a mission that could change the course of history. We will approach the anomaly with extreme caution and gather as much data as possible. The scientists on board immediately began preparing their instruments, calibrating sensors, and running simulations. The engineers checked and rechecked the ship's systems, ensuring everything was in perfect working order. This could be a groundbreaking discovery. The possibility of finding something entirely new, something that could expand humanity's understanding of the universe, was both thrilling and daunting. The crew's excitement was palpable, but so was their apprehension.
The crew, a mix of seasoned veterans and bright-eyed recruits, buzzed with anticipation. Each member brought their unique skills and perspectives to the mission, creating a dynamic and capable team. They knew that their success depended on their ability to work together and support each other. This was the unknown, the final frontier. The vastness of space stretched out before them, filled with endless possibilities and dangers. The crew steeled themselves for the journey ahead, knowing that they were venturing into uncharted territory. The possibility of a new discovery, a new world, was both exhilarating and terrifying. As the Odyssey moved closer to the anomaly, the crew's sense of wonder and fear grew. They were on the brink of something extraordinary, and the outcome was uncertain. But one thing was clear: this mission would be remembered for generations to come. As the Odyssey drew closer, the anomaly grew larger, its pulsating light intensifying. The ship's sensors struggled to make sense of the energy readings. They were off the charts, defying all known laws of physics.
Captain, we're receiving a transmission. It's faint, but it appears to be singing?
The haunting melody filled the bridge, an ethereal chorus that seemed to resonate deep within their souls. It was both beautiful and unsettling, like a siren's call from the void. The song intensified as the Odyssey neared the anomaly. It seemed to emanate from the vortex itself, beckoning them closer. The crew felt an inexplicable pull, a mixture of fear and irresistible curiosity.
What is this place?
Prepare a probe. We need to know what we're dealing with.
Section 5. The Portal's Embrace. The probe, a small, nimble craft equipped with advanced sensors, shot towards the anomaly. As it entered the swirling energy field, the transmission, the song, reached a fever pitch. Then silence. The probe vanished. On the Odyssey's screen, the anomaly shimmered, then stabilized. The swirling vortex had transformed. It was no longer a chaotic mess of energy, but a shimmering portal, a gateway to the unknown. Through the portal, they saw a world bathed in the warm glow of a foreign sun. Lush green fields stretched as far as the eye could see, dotted with shimmering lakes and meandering rivers. Strange, beautiful creatures soared through the sky. The crew watched in stunned silence. Was this real or some kind of elaborate illusion?
This changes everything. We need to go through.
The Odyssey, after careful calculations and preparations, cautiously entered the portal. The crew had spent months preparing for this moment, running simulations and double-checking every piece of equipment. The portal shimmered with an otherworldly light, a gateway to the unknown. As the ship approached, the tension on the bridge was palpable. Each crew member held their breath, eyes fixed on the view screen. The Odyssey's engines roared to life, propelling the ship forward into the swirling vortex. The sensation was like nothing they had ever experienced, a disorientation of space and time. It felt as if the very fabric of reality was being stretched and twisted around them. The crew struggled to maintain their bearings as the ship was buffeted by unseen forces. Time seemed to lose all meaning, seconds stretching into eternity. The swirling vortex outside the ship's hull was a mesmerizing, chaotic dance of colors and shapes, unlike anything they had ever seen. Then, they emerged on the other side. The transition was sudden, almost jarring. One moment they were surrounded by the chaos of the vortex, and the next, they found themselves in the calm, open expanse of a new star system. The view screen filled with the sight of distant stars and unfamiliar planets. The crew let out a collective sigh of relief, the tension of the journey through the portal finally easing. The world that greeted them was even more breathtaking up close. Towering mountains of iridescent rock, vast forests of luminescent trees, and rivers that glowed with an ethereal light. It was a landscape that seemed to defy the laws of nature, a place of impossible beauty. The crew stared in awe, their minds struggling to comprehend the sheer wonder of what they were seeing. The air hummed with an unseen energy, and the plants glowed with an internal luminescence. Every leaf, every blade of grass seemed to pulse with life. The colors were more vibrant than anything they had ever seen, a kaleidoscope of hues that shifted and changed with the light. The crew could feel the energy in the air, a tingling sensation on their skin, a reminder that this was a world unlike any other. Sensors indicate this planet is teeming with life, reported the science officer, his voice filled with wonder. The readings were off the charts, showing a level of biodiversity that was unprecedented. Every scan revealed new and fascinating forms of life, from microscopic organisms to massive tree-like structures. The The science officers' excitement was contagious, spreading through the crew as they realized the significance of their discovery. And the energy readings, they're off the charts. The science officer's voice was almost a whisper, filled with awe. The planet was emitting a level of energy that was beyond anything they had ever encountered. It was as if the very ground beneath their feet was alive with power, a vast, untapped source of energy that could revolutionize their understanding of the universe. It's like this entire world is a source of unimaginable power. The crew could hardly believe what they were hearing. The implications of such a discovery were staggering. This planet, with its incredible energy and vibrant life, could hold the key to unlocking new technologies, new ways of understanding the cosmos. As they stood on the surface of this alien world, they knew that their journey was just beginning, and that the echoes of the past would guide them into an unimaginable future. After weeks of exploration, collecting data, and immersing themselves in the alien environment, the team had gathered invaluable information. They meticulously documented every detail, from the unique flora and fauna to the atmospheric conditions and geological formations. Each discovery was a testament to the planet's rich biodiversity and the potential for new scientific breakthroughs. The explorers were in awe of the alien landscape, with its towering structures and breathtaking vistas. The skyline was dotted with futuristic architecture that seemed to defy the laws of physics. Every corner of this new world held a new wonder, a new mystery waiting to be unraveled. They marveled at the intricate designs and the advanced technology that hinted at a civilization far more advanced than their own. The portal, however, remained a mystery. It stood as a silent sentinel, glowing with an otherworldly light that seemed to pulse with a life of its own. The team had no way of understanding its origins or its purpose. Was it a gateway to other worlds, a relic of an ancient civilization, or something else entirely? The questions were endless, and the answers were elusive. They had no way of knowing if it would remain open, or if they would be trapped in this alien paradise forever. The uncertainty weighed heavily on their minds. The thought of being stranded, cut off from everything they knew, was a daunting prospect. Yet there was also a sense of excitement, a thrill at the possibility of uncovering more secrets of this enigmatic world. But as if sensing their apprehension, the portal pulsed once more, its light growing brighter and more intense. It was as if the portal was alive, responding to their presence and their emotions. The energy waves it emitted seemed to resonate with the very fabric of the universe, creating a symphony of light and sound that was both mesmerizing and reassuring. The ethereal song returning, guiding them home. The Odyssey passed through, its sleek form gliding effortlessly through the glowing gateway. The journey through the portal was unlike anything they had ever experienced. It was as if they were traveling through a tunnel of light, with the boundaries of space and time blurring around them. The sensation was both exhilarating and surreal. The gateway sealing behind them, the portal's light dimming until it was nothing more than a faint glow in the distance. The transition back to their own world was seamless, yet the memories of the alien landscape lingered in their minds. They had crossed the threshold between worlds and returned, but the experience had changed them in ways they were only beginning to understand. Leaving the wonders of the unknown world behind, they couldn't help but feel a sense of loss. The alien planet had become a part of them, a place of discovery and wonder that would forever be etched in their memories. As they looked back at the fading landscape, they knew that their journey was far from over. There were still countless mysteries to explore, both in their own world and beyond. They were left with more questions than answers, their minds racing with the possibilities of what they had seen and experienced. The data they had collected was just the beginning. Each piece of information was a puzzle, a clue that could lead to even greater discoveries. The team knew that their work was far from complete, and that the true significance of their findings would only be revealed with time and further study. But they had witnessed something truly extraordinary, an encounter that would redefine their understanding of the universe. The experience had brought them closer together, forging bonds that would last a lifetime. They had shared something unique, something that few others could ever comprehend. It was a testament to the spirit of exploration and the unending quest for knowledge. A testament to the boundless mysteries of the universe. As they gazed out at the vast expanse of stars and galaxies, they felt a renewed sense of purpose. The universe was full of wonders, and they were just beginning to scratch the surface. Their journey had shown them that there was so much more to discover, and they were ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. The adventure was far from over, and the possibilities were endless. Back on Earth, hailed as heroes, the crew of the Odyssey struggled to explain what they had seen. Words seemed inadequate to describe the beauty, the wonder, the sheer impossibility of it all. But one thing was certain: the universe held endless secrets, waiting to be discovered, and the Odyssey, ever the pioneer, would continue its mission, exploring the vast unknown, searching for answers among the stars.
In the heartland of America, nestled among rolling hills and fields of golden wheat, lay the small town of Willow Creek. This quaint town, with its picturesque landscapes and serene environment, was a place where everyone knew each other, and life moved at a gentle pace. Life here was simple, the pace slow and steady like the flow of the Willow Creek River that snaked its way through the town. The river, a lifeline for the community, mirrored the town's unhurried rhythm. It was here that a young woman named Lily harbored a dream as vast as the sky above. Her aspirations were as boundless as the horizon she often gazed upon, lost in thought. Lily yearned to be a writer, her heart set on weaving words into stories that would transport readers to far-off lands and ignite their imaginations. She envisioned her tales reaching people far beyond the borders of Willow Creek. Lily spent countless hours in the town's small library, devouring books of all genres, her mind buzzing with stories waiting to be told. The library, with its cozy corners and endless shelves, became her sanctuary. She filled notebooks with her thoughts and ideas, her pen dancing across the pages, fueled by a passion that burned bright within her. Each word she wrote was a step closer to her dream. But Willow Creek, with its charming simplicity, also held limitations. The town's isolation meant that opportunities were scarce, and resources for aspiring writers were limited. Opportunities were few, and dreams often faded like the summer sunset. The vibrant hues of ambition would slowly dim, leaving behind a twilight of resignation. Many in Willow Creek encouraged Lily to be realistic, to set her sights on a more attainable path. They believed that practicality should take precedence over passion. "Writing is a tough field, Lily," they would say, their voices laced with concern. "It's not easy to make it, especially for someone from a small town like ours. It's not easy to make it, especially for someone from a small town like ours." Their words, though well-intentioned, planted seeds of doubt in Lily's mind. Their words, though well-intentioned, planted seeds of doubt in Lily's mind. She began to question her abilities and the feasibility of her dreams. She couldn't help but wonder if her dreams were too big for Willow Creek. The town that had nurtured her also seemed to be the very place that might hold her back. Lily's confidence wavered as she faced rejection after rejection. She poured her heart and soul into every manuscript she sent out, each one a piece of herself, only to receive form letters in return. The words "unfortunately" and "not a good fit" seemed to mock her efforts, chipping away at her resolve. The once bright flame of her ambition flickered under the weight of self-doubt. Lily began to question her abilities, wondering if she had what it took to succeed in the cutthroat world of publishing. The dream that had once seemed so clear and attainable now felt distant and impossible. The walls of her small bedroom, once plastered with inspirational quotes and her own handwritten stories, seemed to close in on her. The rejection letters piled up on her desk, a constant reminder of her perceived failures. Lily's spirit, once so full of hope and determination, began to dwindle. She found herself withdrawing from the activities she once loved, her joy replaced by a gnawing sense of inadequacy. One crisp autumn afternoon, as Lily wandered through the town square, she felt a familiar sense of melancholy. The leaves crunched under her feet, and the cool breeze carried with it a sense of change. Her gaze fell upon a flyer fluttering on a bulletin board, catching her attention amidst the sea of mundane notices. It announced a writing workshop being held in the nearby city, led by a renowned author Lily admired. The name on the flyer brought back memories of late-night reading sessions and dreams of becoming a writer. A spark of hope flickered within her, igniting a long-forgotten passion. Could this be the opportunity she had been waiting for? The chance to reignite her creative spirit? Lily hesitated, her mind flooded with doubts. What if she wasn't good enough? What if she failed? The city seemed like a world away, and the thought of attending the workshop, of putting herself out there again, filled her with trepidation. The bustling streets and unfamiliar faces felt intimidating, but something deep down, a persistent voice whispered that she had to try. It was a voice that refused to be silenced, urging her to take a leap of faith. Taking a deep breath, Lily decided to silence the negative voices in her head and embrace the opportunity. She knew that if she didn't take this chance, she would always wonder what might have been. She registered for the workshop, her heart pounding with a mixture of fear and excitement. The act of signing up felt like a commitment to herself and her dreams. It was a small step, but it felt like a giant leap of faith. Each step forward was a testament to her courage and determination. As she boarded the bus to the city, Lily couldn't shake the feeling that this journey, though daunting, held the promise of something life-changing. The road ahead was uncertain, but it was filled with endless possibilities. The city, a bustling hub of activity, was a stark contrast to the quiet tranquility of Willow Creek. The noise, the lights, and the sheer scale of everything were overwhelming. It was a sensory overload that made her long for the simplicity of her hometown. Lily felt overwhelmed by the constant motion, the cacophony of sounds, and the sheer number of people. Every corner she turned presented a new challenge, a new wave of people to navigate through. She navigated the crowded streets, her senses on high alert, feeling like a small-town girl lost in a concrete jungle. The towering buildings seemed to close in on her, making her feel even smaller and more insignificant. The writing workshop itself was both exhilarating and intimidating. It was a chance to learn and grow, but also a reminder of how much she still had to learn. Lily found herself surrounded by aspiring writers from all walks of life, each with their own unique voice and story to tell. The diversity of experiences and perspectives was both inspiring and humbling. As she listened to their experiences, their struggles, and their triumphs, Lily realized that she wasn't alone in her journey. Each story shared was a testament to the resilience and passion of the human spirit. The workshop leader, a seasoned author with a warm demeanor and a quick wit, shared invaluable insights into the craft of writing. His words were a blend of wisdom and encouragement, offering both practical advice and emotional support. He stressed the importance of perseverance, of embracing rejection as a stepping stone, and of staying true to one's unique voice. His stories of personal setbacks and eventual successes were particularly motivating. His words resonated deeply with Lily, rekindling the embers of her passion. She felt a renewed sense of purpose and a clearer vision of her path forward. She left the workshop feeling inspired and energized, armed with renewed determination and a wealth of knowledge. The road ahead might be steep, but she was ready to face it with newfound confidence and vigor. Section 5. Finding Strength Within. Back in Willow Creek, Lily approached her writing with a fresh perspective. She dedicated herself to honing her craft, spending hours each day writing, rewriting, and polishing her work. She joined online writing communities seeking feedback and support from fellow writers who understood the challenges and rewards of the craft. The rejection letters continued to arrive, but Lily no longer allowed them to define her. She viewed them as opportunities for growth, as stepping stones on her path to success. With each setback, Lily's resolve grew stronger, fueled by an unwavering belief in herself and her abilities. Lily found solace in the familiar rhythm of her small-town life, drawing inspiration from the beauty of the surrounding countryside and the warmth of her community. She realized that her roots in Willow Creek, once perceived as a limitation, were actually a source of strength. They grounded her, providing a sense of belonging and a constant reminder of who she was and where she came from. Section 6. A Helping Hand. One evening, as Lily was browsing the internet, she stumbled upon an online writing contest. The grand prize was a publishing contract with a reputable literary agency. Lily's heart skipped a beat. Could this be her chance? She hesitated, her mind flooded with familiar doubts, but then she remembered the words of the workshop leader, "You miss 100% of the shots you don't take." Taking a deep breath, Lily decided to go for it. She poured her heart and soul into her entry, crafting a story that was both deeply personal and universally relatable. Weeks turned into months, and Lily heard nothing back. Just when she was about to give up hope, she received an email that made her heart race. She had won the contest. Lily's joy knew no bounds. Her perseverance, her unwavering belief in herself had paid off. She had finally achieved her dream. Section 7. Triumph over adversity. The publishing process was a whirlwind of activity. Lily worked closely with her agent and editor, refining her manuscript and preparing it for publication. She pored over every word, every sentence, every paragraph, determined to create a book that would resonate with readers. Finally, the day arrived when Lily held her published book in her hands. It was a surreal moment, the culmination of years of hard work, dedication, and unwavering belief. As she gazed at her name on the cover, a wave of emotion washed over her. Pride, gratitude, and a deep sense of accomplishment. Lily's book was met with critical acclaim, her words touching the hearts of readers around the world. She embarked on a book tour, sharing her story and inspiring aspiring writers to pursue their dreams. Lily had become a beacon of hope, proving that with hard work, determination, and a belief in oneself, anything is possible. Section 8. The Sweet Taste of Success. Lily's success extended far beyond the literary world. She became an inspiration to the people of Willow Creek, a testament to the power of dreams and the importance of pursuing them relentlessly. The town that had once doubted her abilities now celebrated her achievements, their hearts filled with pride. Lily never forgot her roots. She returned to Willow Creek often, giving back to the community that had nurtured her dreams. She established a scholarship fund for aspiring writers, mentored young people, and donated generously to the town library. Lily's journey from small-town girl to best-selling author was a testament to the indomitable spirit that resides within us all. She had faced adversity head-on, overcome countless obstacles, and emerged stronger and more determined than ever before. Her story was a beacon of hope, a reminder that no matter how big our dreams or how challenging the path, with courage, perseverance, and a belief in ourselves, we can achieve anything we set our minds to. Section 9. A Beacon of Hope. Lily's story is a powerful reminder that success is not a destination but a journey. It's about embracing the challenges, learning from the setbacks, and never giving up on our dreams. Lily's journey teaches us that the power to achieve our goals lies within each and every one of us. Believe in yourself, work hard, and never be afraid to chase your dreams, no matter how big or small they may seem. For it is in the pursuit of our passions that we discover our true potential and create a life filled with purpose and meaning.
Lahore, a city of vibrant hues and echoing history, throbbed with life. Zara, her fingers dancing over the strings of her tampura, poured her heart into her music. Her voice, clear as a mountain stream, soared through the bustling marketplace. She sang of love, of loss, of the bittersweet pangs of life in the old city. Zara wasn't a street performer seeking coins, she was a student, her passion for music burning bright. Music was her solace, her escape from the weight of her family's expectations. They dreamt of a traditional life for her, one she longed to gently redefine. As her song ended, a hush fell over the crowd, followed by a smattering of applause. A small boy, his eyes wide with wonder, presented her with a single jasmine flower, its fragrance mingling with the scent of spices in the air. Zara smiled, a warmth spreading through her chest. It was moments like these that made her feel truly alive. Across the bustling Mall Road, nestled among shops overflowing with silks and spices, stood a small, unassuming bookshop. Its proprietor, Salman, was a young man with eyes that held the wisdom of ages. He spent his days amidst towering stacks of books, their worn pages whispering tales of faraway lands and forgotten loves. Salman found solace in the written word, each sentence a portal to a different world. He dreamt of traveling beyond Lahore's borders, of experiencing the world through the eyes of the characters he encountered in his books. But duty kept him tethered to his family's shop, a silent yearning echoing in his heart. One afternoon, a melody carried on the breeze drifted into his sanctuary. It was a voice unlike any he had heard before, filled with a depth of emotion that sent shivers down his spine. He closed his eyes, letting the music wash over him, and for a fleeting moment, the weight of his everyday life seemed to lift. Days later, drawn by the siren call of the unfamiliar voice, Salman found himself standing at the edge of the marketplace. There, amidst the throngs of people, was the source of the melody that had captivated his soul. A young woman, her head thrown back in song, her fingers moving effortlessly over the strings of a tanpura. Their eyes met across the crowded marketplace, and for a moment, time seemed to stand still. He was captivated by her passion, by the raw emotion that poured from her very being. She saw in his eyes a kindred spirit, a fellow traveler on the road less traveled. Their worlds, so different, so separate, collided in that instant. It was a chance encounter, a twist of fate that would irrevocably alter the course of their lives. And as the last notes of her song faded into the cacophony of the marketplace, they both knew that something profound had transpired. Something that whispered of hope, of connection, and perhaps even love. Drawn together by an invisible thread, Salman and Zara found themselves stealing moments amidst the chaos of their lives. Their connection was like a delicate dance, each step bringing them closer, each glance a silent conversation. They were two souls navigating the labyrinth of their own worlds, yet finding solace in the presence of one another. He would visit her in the marketplace, his heart quickening at the sight of her. The bustling market, with its vibrant colors and cacophony of sounds, faded into the background whenever he saw her. His eyes would search for her amidst the crowd, and the moment their gazes met, the world seemed to pause, if only for a heartbeat. She, in turn, found solace in the quiet haven of his bookshop, their conversations flowing as easily as the ink in his most treasured fountain pen. The scent of old books and the soft rustle of pages created a sanctuary where they could escape. They would lose track of time, engrossed in discussions about literature, philosophy, and the mysteries of life. They spoke of their dreams, their fears, their hopes for the future. Each word was a thread, weaving a tapestry of shared aspirations and mutual understanding. They found comfort in knowing that they were not alone in their struggles, that someone else understood the weight of their unspoken burdens. He shared tales spun from the pages of his beloved books, transporting her to distant lands. His voice would take on a magical quality, each story a portal to another world. She would listen, enraptured, her imagination painting vivid pictures of the adventures he described. She, in turn, filled his world with music, each note a brushstroke painting vivid emotions onto the canvas of his soul. Her melodies spoke the words she could not, expressing the depths of her heart in ways that transcended language. The music became their secret language, a dialogue of melodies and harmonies. Over cups of steaming hot chai, spiced with cardamom and ginger, they bared their souls. The warmth of the tea mirrored the warmth of their growing bond. Each sip was a moment of shared intimacy, a ritual that brought them closer together. He confessed his yearning for adventure, his desire to see the world beyond Lahore's walls. His eyes would light up with dreams of distant horizons and uncharted territories. She could see the fire of wanderlust in his gaze, a passion that was both inspiring and contagious. She confided her passion for music, her struggle to reconcile her dreams with her family's expectations. Her voice would tremble with the weight of her unspoken desires, the conflict between duty and passion. He listened with empathy, offering her the understanding she so desperately needed. With each shared secret, their bond deepened, weaving a tapestry of trust and understanding. They became each other's confidants, their hearts opening up in ways they had never experienced before. The trust they built was a foundation, strong and unshakable. What began as a chance encounter was blossoming into something precious, a connection that transcended the boundaries of their different worlds. Their love story was unfolding, each chapter more beautiful than the last, a testament to the power of shared moments and whispered secrets. One breezy afternoon, as they sat amidst the fragrant jasmine vines, the world seemed to slow down around them. The gentle rustling of leaves and the distant hum of city life created a serene backdrop for their intimate conversation. That climbed the walls of Salman's bookshop. He revealed a secret he had held close to his heart. His voice was soft, almost hesitant, as if he was afraid that speaking it aloud might shatter the delicate dream he had nurtured for so long. He spoke of a dream, a longing to open a small cafe within the bookshop, a place where literature and music could intertwine. His eyes lit up as he described the cozy corners filled with books and the soft melodies that would fill the air. A place where literature and music could intertwine, creating a sanctuary for kindred spirits. He envisioned a space where people could lose themselves in stories and find solace in melodies, a haven for those seeking a respite from the chaos of everyday life, creating a sanctuary for kindred spirits. Zara listened, her heart swelling with admiration for his quiet passion. She could see the cafe in her mind's eye, a warm and inviting place where dreams could take flight. Zara listened, her heart swelling with admiration for his quiet passion. She saw the spark in his eyes, the way his hands moved with an almost tangible excitement as he described his vision. It was as if he was painting a picture with his words, each stroke bringing the dream closer to reality. She saw the spark in his eyes, the way his hands moved with an almost tangible excitement as he described his vision. It was a dream that resonated with her own desire to share her music with the world. She had always wanted to create a space where her music could touch people's hearts, and now she saw a way to make that happen. The way his hands moved with an almost tangible excitement as he described his vision. It was a dream that resonated with her own desire to share her music with the world. As the sun began its descent, casting long shadows across the city, Zara made a proposition. It was a dream that resonated with her own desire to share her music with the world. As the sun began its descent, casting long shadows across the city, Zara made a proposition. She would play her tanpura in his bookshop, her music drawing in customers and bringing his dream to life. As the sun began its descent, casting long shadows across the city, Zara made a proposition. She would play her tanpura in his bookshop, her music drawing in customers and bringing his dream to life. It was a daring plan, one that challenged the conventions of their society. But in that moment, surrounded by the magic of shared dreams, anything seemed possible. She would play her tanpura in his bookshop, her music drawing in customers and bringing his dream to life. It was a daring plan, one that challenged the conventions of their society. But in that moment, surrounded by the magic of shared dreams, anything seemed possible. They knew it wouldn't be easy, but they were ready to face the challenges together. Her music drawing in customers and bringing his dream to life. It was a daring plan, one that challenged the conventions of their society, but in that moment, surrounded by the magic of shared dreams, anything seemed possible. They knew it wouldn't be easy, but they were ready to face the challenges together. With a shared vision and unwavering determination, they set out to create a place where dreams could flourish. It was a daring plan, one that challenged the conventions of their society, but in that moment, surrounded by the magic of shared dreams, anything seemed possible. They knew it wouldn't be easy, but they were ready to face the challenges together. With a shared vision and unwavering determination, they set out to create a place where dreams could flourish. The journey ahead was uncertain, but they had each other, and that was enough. But in that moment, surrounded by the magic of shared dreams, anything seemed possible. They knew it wouldn't be easy, but they were ready to face the challenges together. With a shared vision and unwavering determination, they set out to create a place where dreams could flourish. The journey ahead was uncertain, but they had each other, and that was enough. Together, they would turn their dreams into reality one step at a time. Their newfound hope, however, was not without its challenges. The path they had chosen was strewn with obstacles, each one more daunting than the last. It was a journey that demanded resilience, courage, and an unwavering belief in their shared vision. Whispers of Salman and Zara's unconventional partnership began to circulate through the marketplace, carried on the tongues of those who clung to tradition. The marketplace, usually a bustling hub of commerce and camaraderie, now seemed to buzz with a different kind of energy, one of suspicion and judgment. Skeptical glances followed them, and disapproving murmurs reached their ears. Every step they took seemed to echo with the weight of societal expectations, and every glance cast their way was a reminder of the norms they were defying. Zara's family, bound by societal expectations, frowned upon her involvement with Salman and his unsuitable aspirations. They could not fathom why she would choose a path so fraught with uncertainty and potential disgrace. They urged her to focus on a more traditional path, one that would lead to a respectable marriage and a life confined within the familiar walls of their community. They believed that adhering to tradition was the only way to ensure a stable and honorable future. Salman too faced resistance. His dreams of opening a cafe were met with skepticism and concern from his own family. His family, though supportive of his love for books, questioned the wisdom of his cafe dream. They wondered if his passion for literature could translate into a viable business and if it was worth the risk. They worried about the financial risk, the potential for societal backlash, and the uncertainty it cast upon his future. The fear of failure loomed large, casting a shadow over his aspirations. The shadows of doubt and disapproval loomed large, threatening to extinguish the fragile flame of hope that had ignited between them. It was a constant battle to keep their dreams alive amidst the growing pressure from all sides. Their journey, it seemed, would be fraught with obstacles, testing the strength of their bond and their commitment to the dreams they dared to share. Yet despite the mounting challenges, they held on to each other, determined to carve out a future that was uniquely their own. The road ahead was uncertain, but their resolve was unwavering, and their love, a beacon of hope in the face of adversity.
Let's go to Islamabad, Pakistan. This city, nestled in the heart of the country, is known for its stunning architecture, lush greenery and rich cultural heritage. From the majestic Faisal Mosque to the serene Damani Ko, Islamabad is a city that beautifully blends the old with the new. It's a city full of history, with every corner telling a story of its own. The streets are lined with monuments and buildings that have stood the test of time, each with its own unique tale to tell. But it also holds a secret, a dark and eerie one that has been whispered about for generations. As the sun sets and the city lights flicker on, a sense of mystery envelops the air. High up on a hill, there's a big old house called the Alamgir Estate. This mansion, once a symbol of grandeur and opulence, now stands as a haunting reminder of a bygone era. People always whisper about strange things happening there. Tales of ghostly apparitions, unexplained phenomena, and eerie sounds have been passed down through the years. They say they hear weird noises, feel sudden chills, and experience an overwhelming sense of dread when they are near the estate. The air around the mansion is thick with an unexplainable tension, and see shadows moving at night. These shadows, often described as fleeting and ghostly, seem to have a life of their own, dancing and shifting in the darkness. Nobody dares to go inside anymore. The once bustling estate now stands deserted, its gates locked and its windows boarded up. The fear of the unknown keeps people at bay. It's like the house is cursed. The very air around it feels heavy, as if the mansion itself is alive and watching. The Alamgir estate used to be beautiful, a jewel in the crown of Islamabad. It was a place of laughter, joy and celebration, where grand parties were held and memories were made. But now it's just falling apart. The walls are crumbling, the paint is peeling, and the once grand facade is now a shadow of its former self. And the air smells like old dirt. The inside of the mansion is filled with dust and cobwebs, a testament to the years of neglect and abandonment. It feels like time has forgotten this place, like it exists in a different realm altogether. The overgrown garden and the time-worn clock inside the house add to the eerie atmosphere, like something unknown is living there. The shadows and the silence seem to hide a presence, something that watches and waits, adding to the mystery of the whispering estate. Three friends, Amir, Layla and Faisal, have heard all the spooky stories about the house. The tales of ghostly apparitions, strange noises and unexplained events have been passed down through generations, making the Alamgir estate a local legend. Despite the warnings from the older folks in the village, the trio's curiosity gets the better of them. They're curious, so they decide to see for themselves. The path leading to the house is overgrown with weeds, and the air is thick with the scent of damp earth and decaying leaves. Each step they take is accompanied by the crunch of gravel underfoot, adding to the eerie atmosphere. Amir is the scared one, always trying to be sensible. He remembers the stories his grandmother used to tell him about the house. Stories that made his hair stand on end. His heart races as they approach the front door, and he can't shake the feeling that they're being watched. Layla is the adventurous one, always looking for excitement. Her eyes sparkle with anticipation as she imagines the secrets the house might hold. To her, this is not just an old abandoned building, it's a treasure trove of mysteries waiting to be uncovered. And Faisal is the quiet one, always ready to take pictures with his camera. He sees the world through a different lens, capturing moments that others might overlook. The Alamgir estate, with its crumbling walls and overgrown garden, is a perfect subject for his photography. As they stand in front of the big, scary gates, Amir says, "Are you guys sure about this?" His voice trembles slightly, betraying his fear. The gates, once grand and imposing, are now rusted and covered in ivy, adding to the house's ominous aura. "This place gives me the creeps." Amir's eyes dart around, searching for any sign of danger. He can't help but think about the stories of people who entered the house and were never seen again. But Layla just laughs and says, "Don't be silly, Amir." Her laughter is light and carefree, a stark contrast to the heavy atmosphere surrounding them. She steps forward confidently, her excitement palpable. "It's just an old house. Let's go see what's inside." Layla pushes open the creaky gate, and it swings open with a loud groan. She leads the way, her steps sure and steady, as if she's done this 100 times before. Faisal doesn't say anything, but he nods his head, agreeing with Layla. He adjusts the strap of his camera and follows her, ready to document their adventure. His silence speaks volumes. He's just as curious as Layla, though he expresses it differently. He lifts his camera and takes a picture of the mysterious Alamgir estate. The click of the shutter echoes in the stillness, capturing the moment forever. As they step into the unknown, the trio is unaware of the secrets and surprises that await them inside the haunted house. The gates creak open like they haven't been touched in ages. As the friends step inside, the air gets colder. Everything is covered in dust, like nobody has been there for years. Amir thinks he sees something move in the shadows, but when he looks again, it's gone. Suddenly they hear a loud crash from upstairs. "What was that?" Layla whispers, suddenly feeling scared. Faisal, always observant, points to a vase that's broken on the floor. It's like something invisible pushed it over. Fear starts to creep into their hearts. The friends walk deeper into the house, and it feels like the walls are closing in. They hear soft whispers coming from everywhere and nowhere. The air feels heavy, and the only sound is their own breathing. "Did you hear that?" Amir whispers, his eyes wide with fear. "I think someone's here." Layla tries to stay calm. "It's just the wind, Amir," she says. But even she can't shake the feeling that someone or something is watching them. Faisal feels drawn to a room at the end of the hallway. When he walks in, the air is freezing cold. He turns to call his friends, but he can't speak. There, sitting at an old piano, is a figure. It's a woman in a white dress, but her back is to him. He can't see her face. Faisal is terrified and wants to run, but he feels frozen in place. Amir and Layla hear Faisal gasp and they rush into the room. The figure at the piano slowly turns. Her face is covered with a veil, but her eyes are like black holes staring right at them. The lantern they're carrying suddenly goes out and they're plunged into darkness. Layla screams. Then, just as quickly as she appeared, the figure vanishes. They're left in silence, gasping for breath. Now they're really scared. They stumble through the dark, desperate to get out of the house. As they run, they trip over something on the floor. It's an old book with a leather cover. Amir picks it up, his hands shaking. He opens the book and the pages make a dry, crackling sound. It's a diary written in Urdu, the language of their ancestors. Amir reads out loud, his voice trembling, translating the words for his friends. The diary belonged to a woman named Zahra, who used to live in the house. It tells a story of love, betrayal, and a broken heart. The diary says that Zahra was deeply in love, but her family didn't like the man she loved. They made her marry someone else, a rich man she didn't love. Zahra was so heartbroken that she took her own life right there in the house. Her spirit, unable to find peace, is trapped forever, searching for her lost love. As Amir finishes reading, the door slams shut. They're trapped. The air gets even colder, and the ghostly figure of Zahra appears before them, her sad eyes filled with longing. Layla remembers something from the diary. She steps forward and speaks to Zahra. The room is filled with an eerie silence, the kind that makes the hairs on the back of your neck stand up. Layla's heart pounds in her chest, but she knows she must be brave. She takes a deep breath and looks Zahra in the eyes, her own eyes reflecting the determination she feels inside. "You don't have to be trapped here anymore," she says, her voice shaking but strong. The words hang in the air, heavy with meaning. Zahra's eyes widen, a flicker of hope appearing in their depths. Layla continues, her voice gaining strength with each word. "This place, this darkness, it doesn't define you. You have the power to break free, to find peace. Your love may be gone, but your story doesn't have to end in sadness. You have the strength to move on, to find a new path." Layla's words are like a lifeline, reaching out to Zahra, offering her a way out of the darkness that has held her captive for so long. Zahra's form begins to shimmer, a sign that she is starting to believe, starting to hope. You can move on. Zara's form shimmers. The room seems to hold its breath, waiting to see what will happen next. Layla watches as Zara's form becomes more transparent, the edges of her figure blurring as if she is being pulled away from this world. It's a bittersweet moment filled with both sadness and relief. She reaches out a hand as if saying goodbye, and then slowly fades away. Layla feels a tear slip down her cheek, but she knows this is the right thing. Zara deserves peace, deserves to be free from the pain that has haunted her for so long. As Zara's form disappears completely, the room feels lighter, as if a great weight has been lifted. The oppressive feeling in the house lifts. The darkness that had seemed so impenetrable begins to recede, replaced by a soft, warm light. Layla looks around, feeling a sense of calm that she hasn't felt in a long time. The house, once a place of fear and sorrow, now feels almost welcoming. As the sun starts to rise, they finally find the strength to open the front door and escape the haunted Alamgir estate. The first rays of sunlight stream through the windows, casting long shadows on the floor. Layla and her friends take a moment to savor the warmth of the sun on their faces. A stark contrast to the cold, dark interior of the house. They leave with a terrifying story, forever changed by their encounter with the lady in white. As they walk away from the house, they can't help but look back one last time. The Alamgir estate stands silent and still, a monument to the past. But for Layla and her friends, it will always be a place where they faced their fears and found the courage to move forward.
Islamabad, a city known for its beauty and tranquility, was gripped by fear. A thief, a phantom, was stealing precious artifacts. Each theft was bolder than the last, leaving the police baffled. The citizens whispered, "Who will be next?" The newspapers were filled with stories of the thief's exploits. The police commissioner promised swift justice, but the pressure was mounting. The city held its breath, waiting for the phantom to strike again. Inspector Rana was a man of few words but sharp instincts. He had a reputation for solving the toughest cases. The commissioner called upon him to lead the investigation. Rana, a man of action, immediately got to work. He studied the reports, visited the crime scenes, and interviewed witnesses. He looked for any detail, any clue that could lead him to the phantom thief. He knew time was of the essence. The city's peace, its very soul, was at stake. The city woke up to shocking news. The National Museum, the most secure building in Islamabad, had been robbed. The target was the famed Star of Asia, a priceless diamond necklace. The audacity of the crime sent shockwaves through the city. The pressure on Inspector Rana intensified. The phantom was taunting him, it seemed. Each theft was a carefully planned spectacle, a show of skill and daring. Rana knew he was dealing with a brilliant, elusive adversary. Inspector Rana spent countless hours poring over the details of each theft. He meticulously compared the dates, times, methods, and targets. He drew connections, looking for a pattern, a hidden message in the chaos. Finally, a breakthrough. Rana noticed that each theft coincided with a full moon. The targets, though seemingly random, were all artifacts linked to ancient myths about the moon. The phantom wasn't just a thief, they were obsessed with lunar lore. The new information sent ripples through the investigation. Rana delved into the city's underbelly, seeking anyone with knowledge of such obscure lore. He questioned antique dealers, historians, and even fortune-tellers. Days turned into weeks, the pressure mounting with each passing hour. Then, a whisper, a rumor, reached Rana's ears. There was a reclusive scholar, a woman named Zara, who lived on the outskirts of the city. They said she possessed an uncanny understanding of ancient myths and legends. Inspector Rana, with a mix of hope and skepticism, decided to visit Zara. He had heard whispers about her knowledge of ancient artifacts and legends, and he hoped she could provide some insight into the recent thefts. He found her living in a quaint cottage, surrounded by books and scrolls. The air was thick with the scent of old paper and ink, and the walls were lined with shelves overflowing with ancient tomes and mysterious artifacts. It was a place where history seemed to come alive. She was hesitant at first, but agreed to help, intrigued by the mystery of the phantom thief. Zara had always been fascinated by the legends and myths that surrounded the artifacts she studied. and the idea of a modern-day thief chasing after these ancient treasures piqued her curiosity. Zara helped Rana understand the significance of the stolen artifacts. Each piece was not just a relic of the past, but a key to unlocking a greater mystery. She explained how these artifacts were connected to an ancient legend, one that spoke of a hidden treasure that could only be revealed under the light of a full moon. They weren't just valuable, they were keys to an ancient legend about a hidden treasure, said to appear only under the light of a full moon. The legend told of a treasure so great that it could change the course of history, and it was hidden away by a long-forgotten civilization to protect it from falling into the wrong hands. Rana, realizing the Phantom's ultimate goal, devised a plan. He knew that the thief would strike again, and he needed to be ready. He spent hours poring over maps and ancient texts, trying to piece together the clues that would lead him to the treasure before the thief could get to it. He would use the next full moon and the legend to set a trap. The night of the full moon was fast approaching, and Rana knew it would be his best chance to catch the thief. He prepared meticulously, setting up surveillance and positioning his team in strategic locations. As the moon rose high in the sky, casting its silvery light over the landscape, Rana waited with bated breath, ready to spring his trap and finally bring the phantom thief to justice. As the full moon bathed the city in its silvery light, the streets below seemed to hold their breath in anticipation. The night was still, almost unnaturally so, as if the city itself was aware of the impending confrontation. Inspector Rana and his team lay in wait at the legendary treasure site, the ancient ruins on the city's outskirts. These ruins, steeped in history and mystery, had long been rumored to house a treasure of unimaginable value. Tonight, they hoped to catch the elusive thief who had been plaguing the city for months. The trap was set, the bait, a replica of the treasure in place. Every detail had been meticulously planned. The replica was an exact match, down to the smallest scratch and dent, designed to lure the thief into a false sense of security. A figure, cloaked in shadows, emerged from the darkness. The team watched with bated breath as the figure moved with a grace and confidence that spoke of experience. This was no ordinary thief. This was someone who knew exactly what they were doing. With practiced agility, they bypassed the security measures Rana had put in place. The figure moved swiftly, avoiding the hidden tripwires and motion sensors with ease. It was clear they had studied the layout and knew exactly where to step, but as the figure reached for the treasure, the trap was sprung. Hidden nets and alarms activated, ensnaring the thief in a web of security measures. The team rushed forward, their flashlights cutting through the darkness. The figure, unmasked, turned out to be none other than Zara. Zara, a renowned archaeologist, had been the last person anyone suspected. Her knowledge of the ruins had given her the edge, but her greed had ultimately been her downfall. As she stood there, caught and unmasked, the team couldn't help but feel a mix of betrayal and relief. The mystery was solved, but at a great personal cost. Zara, the unassuming scholar, was the mastermind behind the Phantom Thief's elaborate scheme. She confessed, her voice laced with a calm resignation. She wasn't interested in wealth or fame. She craved knowledge, the thrill of unraveling ancient mysteries. Zara saw the thefts as a game, a puzzle to be solved. She used her knowledge to outsmart everyone, proving her intellect, her mastery over the forgotten lore. She never intended to keep the artifacts, planning to return them after proving her point. News of Zara's capture spread like wildfire through Islamabad. The citizens were astonished. For years the city had been haunted by the mysterious figure known only as the Phantom Thief. Zara, a seemingly ordinary woman, had managed to elude the authorities while pulling off some of the most daring heists the city had ever seen. Her capture was not just a victory for the police, but a moment of collective disbelief for the people of Islamabad. The Phantom Thief, a quiet scholar living among them. Zara was known in her neighborhood as a reserved and intelligent woman, often seen with her nose buried in books. She lived a double life, balancing her scholarly pursuits with her secretive escapades. Her neighbors were shocked to learn that the woman they had shared tea with was the same person who had masterminded such elaborate thefts. Zara was arrested, her game brought to an end. The police had finally caught up with her, and the arrest was swift and decisive. The handcuffs snapped shut around her wrists, marking the end of an era. The police station buzzed with activity as officers processed the woman who had eluded them for so long, but a strange sense of admiration lingered. Despite her crimes, many couldn't help but feel a grudging respect for Zara. She had outsmarted the authorities time and again, and her intelligence and audacity were undeniable. Conversations in cafes and markets were filled with mixed emotions. Some condemned her actions while others marveled at her cunning. The stolen artifacts were recovered, returned to their rightful places. The museums and private collectors who had been victims of Zara's heists breathed a sigh of relief as their precious items were returned. Each artifact told a story, not just of its historical significance, but of the daring theft that had temporarily taken it from its home. Zara's trial was quick, her guilt undeniable. The evidence against her was overwhelming, and the courtroom proceedings moved swiftly. The judge, stern and unyielding, delivered the verdict with a sense of finality. Zara stood in the dock, her face a mask of calm as the sentence was pronounced. Yet, even as she was sentenced, a faint smile played on her lips. It was as if Zara had accepted her fate with a sense of peace. Her smile was enigmatic, leaving those in the courtroom to wonder what thoughts lay behind it. Was it satisfaction at having played the game so well, or a quiet defiance in the face of her punishment? She had played a dangerous game and lost, but in her own way, she had won. In the solitude of her cell, Zara had time to reflect on her actions. She had challenged the system and for a time, had triumphed. Her capture was a loss, but the legend she had created was a victory of its own. She had become a symbol, a story that would be told and retold. The city would remember the legend of the Phantom Thief, and Zara, the woman who outsmarted them all. As the sun set over Islamabad, the city buzzed with the tale of Zara. She had become more than just a criminal, she was a part of the city's folklore. Her story would be passed down through generations, a testament to the audacity and brilliance of the woman who had dared to defy the odds. The city stretched out before her, a sprawling expanse of life and energy. The buildings, roads, and people all seemed to blend into a single, vibrant tapestry. Aisha, perched on the wall, looked out at the bustling streets of Karachi. The noise, the colors, the constant movement, it was all so familiar, yet today it felt different. She sighed deeply, her heart heavy with a longing she couldn't quite place. She longed for adventure, for something new, something beyond the everyday hustle and bustle. Suddenly a scent, sweet and unfamiliar, drifted on the breeze. It was a fragrance unlike any she had ever encountered, carrying with it a promise of mystery and wonder. It pulled her gaze towards the horizon, towards a line of trees she'd never noticed before. They stood tall and inviting, like sentinels guarding a hidden world. Curiosity piqued, Aisha hopped down from the wall. She had to explore, to uncover the secrets that lay beyond those trees. The moment she stepped near the trees, the air shimmered with a magical quality. It was as if she had crossed an invisible threshold into another realm. The familiar sounds of the city faded away, replaced by a profound silence that was both eerie and comforting. She was enveloped in a silence so profound she could hear her own heartbeat. It was a rhythm that seemed to sync with the very pulse of the forest. A sign, crafted from twisted branches, read "Whispering Woods." The name itself seemed to hum with an ancient energy. Aisha, a smile blooming on her face, took a deep breath and stepped into the unknown. Each step felt like a journey into a story waiting to be told. This was the adventure she craved, the escape from the mundane she had been yearning for. Her heart raced with excitement and anticipation. The forest welcomed her with open arms and the rustle of leaves whispering secrets in the wind. It was a place of magic, where every leaf and branch seemed to have a story to tell. The deeper Aisha ventured, the more magical the forest became. Giant sunflowers taller than her house tilted their heads to follow her progress. Butterflies with wings like stained glass fluttered around her. The air was filled with the sweet scent of blooming flowers and the soft hum of nature's symphony. A giggle made her whirl around. Perched on a mushroom no bigger than her thumb sat a tiny boy no older than 5. He wore clothes of woven leaves and had skin the color of tree bark. His eyes sparkled with mischief and curiosity. "Welcome," he chirped, his voice like the tinkling of bells. "I am Faisal, a spirit of the woods." His voice was warm and inviting, making Aisha feel at ease. "You are the first human to find our hidden haven in a long, long time." His words echoed with a sense of ancient wisdom and mystery. Aisha, speechless, could only nod. her eyes wide with wonder. She had always believed in magic, but seeing it with her own eyes was an entirely different experience. This was more magical than she could have ever imagined. Every corner of the forest seemed to hold a new secret, a new wonder waiting to be discovered. Faisal, grinning, hopped off his mushroom perch. His movements were quick and graceful, like a leaf dancing in the wind. "Come!" he beckoned. "There's much to see!" His excitement was contagious, and Aisha felt a thrill of anticipation. She knew this adventure was just beginning, and she couldn't wait to see what other wonders the forest held. Faisal led her deeper into the woods, introducing her to wonders she never imagined. The path they walked on seemed to glow with an ethereal light, guiding them deeper into the heart of the forest. Every step they took was accompanied by the soft rustling of leaves and the distant, almost imperceptible hum of magic that seemed to permeate the air. Trees with leaves that shimmered like jewels, catching the light in a way that made them look like they were adorned with countless tiny stars. The leaves seemed to whisper secrets to each other, creating a symphony of rustling sounds that added to the forest's magical ambiance. Flowers that sang in the breeze, their petals moving gently as if dancing to an ancient forgotten melody. Each flower had a unique tune, blending together to create a harmonious chorus that filled the air with a sense of peace and wonder. And animals that spoke in rhymes, their voices carrying a playful yet wise tone. Squirrels recited poetry, birds chirped in rhythmic patterns, and even the deer seemed to communicate in a language that was both musical and profound. He explained that the forest was protected by a powerful magic, hidden from those who wouldn't appreciate its wonders. This magic was ancient, woven into the very fabric of the forest, ensuring that only those with pure hearts and a sense of wonder could find their way to its core. They arrived at a clearing dominated by a magnificent tree. The clearing itself seemed to be a sacred space, untouched by time and filled with an aura of reverence. The tree stood tall and proud, its presence commanding respect and awe. Its leaves were a vibrant emerald, but the topmost branches were bare, devoid of any life. This stark contrast gave the tree a melancholic beauty, as if it held within it a story of both grandeur and sorrow. "This is the Munga tree," Faisal said sadly. His voice carried a weight of history and loss, as if the tree's plight was a personal burden he had carried for years. "It's the heart of our forest, but it's lost its song." Aisha frowned, concerned. She could feel the tree's sorrow, a deep, aching void where its melody should have been. "What happened?" she asked, reaching out to touch the tree's rough bark. The texture of the bark was rough and ancient, each groove telling a story of time and endurance. Faisal sighed, his tinkling laughter gone. The joy that once filled his eyes was replaced with a deep sadness, a reflection of the tree's own loss. A sadness has fallen upon it. The entire forest seemed to echo this sentiment, its usual vibrancy dulled by an invisible weight. It yearns for the laughter of children, a sound it hasn't heard in decades. The forest, once filled with the joyous sounds of play and innocence, now stood silent, waiting for the day it would hear that cherished melody once more. The sight of the Munga tree, so grand yet so forlorn, filled Aisha with a deep sadness. She had to help. "What can I do?" she asked, her voice barely a whisper. Faisal, sensing her determination, smiled gently. "The Munga tree thrives on joy and laughter," he explained. "It needs to hear the laughter of children again to heal." Aisha pondered this. The city seemed a million miles away, yet she knew what she had to do. "I can bring children here," she declared, a new determination in her voice. "I can share the wonders of this place." Faisal, his eyes twinkling, nodded in agreement. "But be warned," he cautioned. "The path back won't be easy. You must listen to the whispers of the forest." The journey back to the edge of the forest felt different. The air, once light and playful, now hummed with a strange energy. The whispers of the leaves seemed to warn her, urging her to hurry. She came face to face with a giant banyan tree. Its roots spread out like grasping claws. Its leaves rustled menacingly, even though there was no wind. "You cannot leave," a voice boomed from the tree, deep and resonant. "The forest needs its secrets kept." Aisha stood her ground. "The forest needs laughter, needs joy," she retorted. "Keeping it hidden will only make it wither." Section 6. The Language of Laughter. The banyan tree trembled, its branches swaying as if caught in a sudden storm. It had not been challenged in centuries. Aisha's words, spoken with such conviction, echoed with the forgotten laughter of children. She closed her eyes and remembered the sound of her friends playing, their joyous shouts filling the air. She focused on that feeling, on the pure, unadulterated joy of childhood. Taking a deep breath, she laughed. It was a laugh filled with the wonder of the forest, the tinkling laughter of Faisal, the rustling whispers of the leaves. It was a laugh that spoke of sunshine and rainbows, of butterflies and talking animals. It was a laugh that the banyan tree hadn't heard in far too long. Section 7. The melody returns. As Aisha's laughter echoed through the silent woods, a change swept through the forest. The air, thick with tension moments before, now vibrated with a newfound energy. The banyan tree, its anger forgotten, swayed gently, its leaves rustling softly. A path, bathed in a warm golden light, opened up before Aisha. The whispers of the forest, now gentle and encouraging, urged her forward. She could feel the forest holding its breath, waiting, hoping. Reaching the edge of the woods, Aisha turned back. The munga tree, bathed in the same golden light, stood tall and proud. From its highest branches, leaves unfurled, a vibrant emerald green. And then a sound, soft at first, then growing in strength, filled the air. The munga tree was singing again. Section 8. The Heart of the Forest. The melody, carried on the breeze, flowed through the city, reaching the ears of every child. It was a melody of laughter and joy, of whispering leaves and tinkling bells, of butterflies with stained glass wings and sunflowers taller than houses. Drawn by an irresistible urge, children poured out from their homes, their laughter echoing through the streets. They followed the melody, their little feet moving as one, towards the edge of the city, towards the whispering woods. Aisha, a wide smile on her face, stood at the edge of the woods, watching as the children, her friends, approached. Behind her, the forest hummed with anticipation, ready to share its magic once more. Section 9. A Gift Shared. As the first child stepped into the whispering woods, the air shimmered and the city sounds faded away. Eyes wide with wonder, they gasped as they were greeted by the sight of towering sunflowers and butterflies with wings like stained glass. Aisha, taking Faisal's tiny hand, led the way, her heart overflowing with joy. She had kept her promise. The forest was no longer a secret but a gift, shared with those who believed in magic. And so, the whispering woods thrived once more, its heart filled with the laughter of children, its magic woven into the fabric of the city. Aisha had learned that the greatest adventures are often found in the most unexpected places, and that the most precious treasures are those shared with others. Karachi, a city that shimmered by day, its skyline a testament to its vibrant energy and relentless pace. The sun would cast its golden hue over the sprawling metropolis, illuminating the lives of millions who called this city home. From the bustling markets to the serene beaches, Karachi was a city of contrasts, where the old met the new, and tradition intertwined with modernity. But as the sun dipped below the horizon, a different Karachi emerged. The city whispered secrets by night, its dark alleyways and shadowy corners hiding tales of intrigue and mystery. The neon lights flickered, casting eerie glows on the streets, and the hum of the day gave way to the whispers of the night. It was in this nocturnal world that the true essence of Karachi revealed itself. It was a place where fortunes were made, where dreams were realized in the blink of an eye. The markets buzzed with activity, traders haggling over prices, and deals being struck with a handshake. Wealth flowed like a river, and those with the right connections and a bit of luck could find themselves on the path to prosperity. Yet, just as quickly, fortunes could be lost. A single misstep, a moment of bad luck, and everything could vanish. The same streets that promised wealth could just as easily strip it away, leaving behind only shattered dreams and empty pockets. It was a city of high stakes, where the line between success and failure was razor thin. And it was here, in the heart of this bustling metropolis, amidst the chaos and the clamor, that a legend was born. The legend of the Shadow, Karachi's most audacious jewel thief. His exploits were the stuff of folklore, whispered in hushed tones in the city's tea houses and street corners. The Shadow was a master of his craft, a phantom who moved through the night with unparalleled skill. His heists were meticulously planned, executed with precision, and always left the authorities baffled. He was a ghost, a figure who seemed to exist only in the periphery, always just out of reach. No one knew his real name, his identity shrouded in mystery. He was a man of many faces, always changing, always adapting. His true self was hidden behind a veil of enigma, a puzzle that no one could solve. His face, when glimpsed, was always partially obscured, a fleeting image that left more questions than answers. He was a shadow, a figure who blended seamlessly into the darkness, leaving behind only the faintest trace of his presence. But everyone knew his mark. A single black lotus subtly left at the scene of his crimes. This symbol became synonymous with his legend, a calling card that struck fear and admiration in equal measure. The black lotus was a sign that the shadow had been there, a silent testament to his prowess. He was a phantom, a whisper in the wind, always one step ahead of the law. The authorities chased shadows, their efforts always falling short as the shadow slipped through their fingers time and time again. His movements were like the wind, unpredictable and elusive. The police were relentless, their searchlights cutting through the darkness, but the shadow was always one step ahead. He played a game of cat and mouse with the law, a dance that he always led. His cunning and agility made him a formidable opponent, one who seemed to anticipate every move. His daring heists were the talk of the city, splashed across newspaper headlines and discussed in every corner of Karachi. Each new theft added to his legend, a mix of awe and fear echoing through the streets. People marveled at his audacity, even as they feared his next move. The shadow was more than just a thief. He was a symbol of the city's dual nature, a reminder that in Karachi the line between light and dark, between fortune and ruin, was always blurred. And as long as the shadow roamed the streets, the city would never be the same. They say behind every great fortune there is a great crime. This saying rings especially true in the case of the enigmatic figure known only as the Shadow. His name whispered in hushed tones, his presence felt but rarely seen. The Shadow's life was a tapestry woven with threads of mystery and intrigue, each strand more complex than the last. But behind the Shadow's crimes was a past shrouded in uncertainty. His origins were as foggy as the streets he prowled. Some say he emerged from the shadows of Karachi, a city teeming with life and secrets. The foggy streets at night seemed to mirror the ambiguity of his past, each corner hiding a piece of his story. Some whispered he was once a skilled jeweler, his talent twisted by a cruel twist of fate. In the dimly lit workshops he crafted masterpieces that dazzled the eye, but somewhere along the line, his path diverged. The delicate art of jewelry making became a gateway to a darker world, where his skills were used for deception and theft. Others believed he was a master illusionist, his sleight of hand honed to perfection in the bustling marketplaces of Karachi. The crowded markets were his stage, and the unsuspecting public his audience. With a flick of his wrist, he could make anything disappear, leaving onlookers in awe. His tricks were not just for entertainment, they were practice for the grand heists that would define his legacy. The truth remained elusive, lost in the labyrinthine alleys of his past. Each narrow, winding street was a metaphor for the twists and turns of his life. The dark corners held secrets that only he knew, secrets that he guarded fiercely. His past was a maze, and he was the only one who knew the way out. The only certainty was that somewhere along the way, an ordinary life had been traded for an extraordinary destiny. As he stared out of the window at night, the cityscape reflecting his inner turmoil, he knew that his choices had set him on a path from which there was no return. His destiny was no longer his own. It was intertwined with the fate of the city itself, a destiny intertwined with glimmering diamonds and the long arm of the law. The diamonds represented the allure of wealth and power, but also the danger that came with it. The flashing police lights were a constant reminder that his time was running out. In the end, the Shadow's life was a delicate balance between the glittering allure of his crimes and the ever-present threat of capture. The Shadow's most audacious heist was etched in the city's memory. The target, the Eye of Asia, a priceless blue diamond displayed at the National Museum. The security was formidable, laser grids, motion sensors, and a small army of guards. But for the Shadow they were mere inconveniences. He moved like a phantom, a whisper of darkness slipping past lasers, his steps measured and silent. The city held its breath, captivated by the unfolding drama. And then, just as silently as he had come, he was gone, leaving behind only the echo of his legend and a single black lotus. The theft of the Eye of Asia sent shockwaves through Karachi. The police launched a massive manhunt, their pride wounded, their determination fueled by public pressure. Every nook and cranny of the city was searched, every lead followed to its bitter end. But the Shadow, like a magician concealing his secrets, vanished without a trace. Days turned into weeks, weeks into months, and the trail ran cold. The city buzzed with speculation. Had he escaped? Was he hiding in plain sight? The answer, when it finally came, would arrive in the most unexpected way. Section 5. A trail of glittering breadcrumbs. The Shadow, despite his meticulous planning, had made a fatal mistake. A tiny diamond, chipped from the Eye of Asia during the heist, was discovered near a pawn shop in the city's underbelly. It was a single, glittering breadcrumb, but it was all the police needed. The pawnbroker, a nervous man with shifty eyes, cracked under pressure. He led the police to a fence, a shadowy figure known only as the Weaver, who dealt in stolen treasures. The net was closing in, the intricate web woven by the shadow beginning to unravel. Section 6. The mask slips. The Weaver, cornered like a trapped animal, bargained for his freedom. He revealed the Shadow's secret meeting place, a forgotten warehouse on the city's outskirts. Armed police stormed the building, adrenaline pumping, their every sense on high alert. They found the Shadow, not as a fearsome phantom, but as a man. He was surprisingly ordinary, almost unassuming. As they slapped on the handcuffs, a single black lotus slipped from his pocket, its delicate petals a stark contrast to the cold steel. Section 7. The price of excess. The trial was a media frenzy. Journalists from every major network gathered outside the courthouse, their cameras flashing and microphones thrust forward, eager to capture every detail of the proceedings. The courtroom sketch artists worked furiously, trying to keep up with the rapid pace of the trial, their hands moving swiftly across their canvases. The city, once captivated by his exploits, now watched in judgment as the Shadow's real name, Omar Khan, was revealed. The courtroom was packed with spectators, their faces a mix of curiosity and condemnation. The once celebrated figure who had danced on the edge of the law was now the subject of their scrutiny. He sat in the courtroom, his eyes downcast, the weight of his crimes pressing down on him. The man who had once been a master of disguise and deception was now stripped of his bravado, reduced to a mere shadow of his former self. His hands, once so deft and nimble, were now bound by the cold steel of handcuffs. He was found guilty and sentenced to a lifetime behind bars. The judge's gavel came down with a resounding thud, sealing his fate. The courtroom fell silent, the gravity of the moment sinking in. Omar Khan, the man who had once eluded capture with such ease, was now destined to spend the rest of his days in a prison cell. The Eye of Asia was recovered, its brilliance undimmed, a constant reminder of the audacious heist that had captivated a nation. The diamond, with its flawless cut and dazzling sparkle, was a testament to Omar's skill and ambition. Yet it also served as a stark reminder of the lengths to which he had gone, and the price he had paid. But the stolen diamond paled in comparison to the life Omar Khan had forfeited, a life traded for fleeting fame and the allure of forbidden treasures. As he sat in his cell, the reality of his choices weighed heavily on him. The once glamorous life of a master thief had given way to the harsh, unyielding reality of incarceration. The walls of his cell, cold and unfeeling, were a constant reminder of the freedom he had lost. The allure of the forbidden treasures that had once driven him now seemed hollow and meaningless. In the end, the price of excess was far greater than he had ever imagined. Section 8. Behind bars, but not behind memories. Years passed, the Shadow's legend faded, replaced by newer, more sensational crimes. Omar Khan, once a phantom who haunted the city's imagination, became a number, lost in the labyrinthine depths of the prison system. But some said that on moonless nights when the city slept, you could still hear the echo of his legend. A whisper in the wind, a fleeting shadow, a reminder that even in the heart of a bustling metropolis, some secrets never truly die. Section 9. Lessons Unlearned. The story of the Shadow is a cautionary tale, a reminder that even the most meticulously crafted facades can crumble. It highlights the allure of wealth and the intoxicating power of anonymity, but also the steep price of such fleeting temptations. Omar Khan's story serves as a stark reminder that true fulfillment is not found in material possessions or fleeting fame, but in honesty, integrity, and the pursuit of a life lived in the light, not in the shadows.